are live.
Live we are.
Yeah. So, so I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, and you're there in Puerto Viejo, Ecuador. And we just thought we would just do a quick live stream to just talk about anything we want to talk about. If we talk about what's going on in Ecuador, we can talk about what the shit that's going on in the United States. It's
Man, it's crazy.
unbelievable. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do here is let me see here. Pull up YouTube on my computer so I can see my the conversation, I guess.
I'll do something similar as well.
Yeah.
There we go.
How am I going to find it? That's going to be the fun part.
If you go to your channel, it should be on the very top.
Yeah, live.
For me, it showed up on my home screen, so I was like, there we go. Haha.
Okay.
Ready.
Oh, my phone's in the way. Okay. I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. If I go to my channel, not in studio.
No, you can just go to your homepage, like your channel homepage, and it should be one of the first videos that show up there.
Yeah, let's see here. Let me refresh.
Today I'm very extra casual.
Yeah, that's fine.
So than normal.
So am I. But I'm still not seeing. I'm not seeing our live stream. I'll refresh again.
Let's see.
Would it be under your channel, or it's got to be under mine? Or do I have to go?
It's under yours. Like if you go in the search bar and you look up Don Shader, it's the first video that shows up.
There it is. Okay, now I need to mute that.
It's the first video that shows up.
There. Okay.
Echo.
Yeah, is it gone? Should be gone now.
Yeah, no, it's gone. But it was like for a second I could hear myself. I was like, what?
Yeah. All right. So so this is the first time we've done this. So what's going on in Ecuador, man? I tell you, it's
a lot of things going on, but like more behind the scenes stuff, like stuff that you see on the news and stuff like that. Like I was listening to the news earlier, and I also was listening to my parents talking about the drugs and stuff that are being found, the different criminal groups. Like recently, they just captured 2 of the Choneros leaders. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great. That's a step forward in terms of eliminating all this, crime and all these criminal gangs. So there's a lot of things going on that you see on the news, and there's some talks as well, behind the scenes. Oh, and hello, Teresa.
Yeah, hi, Teresa. So what about? I mean, I'm particularly worried about Puerto Viejo because I know that they're rolling up the sidewalks at night. And how's your dad doing? I know he's profoundly impacted by this.
I mean, we've been impacted, I think, since I talked about this in like September. I don't remember if I had made a community post in my Buy Me a Coffee or in the YouTube membership, or if it was part of the live stream where I talked about how we were going to be in kind of a deficit because of the curfews, because of the problems. And that's talking about last year around September time. And that was just because the situation was pretty tough in terms economically, because people weren't going out because they were afraid of crime. And now, like, the good is that the curfew was reduced a little bit for the sections that are high. Like now our curfew is only up until, well, it starts at 12 and ends at 5. But I mean, it's only an hour. And my dad, like I mentioned in my video that I recently made, my dad, weirdly enough, he makes more money whenever he stays open much later, like around 2 or 3 in the morning. And like, I personally don't want him being out there at 2 or 3 in the morning. And that was before, when the situation was no police, no military. Now with the situation, even now, I kind of don't like it. And he can't anyways, because right now, because of the curfew, anyone who stays out, law-abiding citizen or not, they get punished. The good thing is that law-abiding citizens, like, they're respectful and, they're not like criminals. They don't show any criminal traits. A lot of people here laugh, but they get forced to do exercise. Like they'll have you doing exercise for like an hour or 2 hours to like punish you for being out in curfew time. If you're disrespectful, they'll take you to jail, or they'll, as some videos have shown, they will treat you less than adequately. Though
Yeah.
some people agree with it because you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and it's kind of suspicious that you're out at that time. So
Yeah.
it's all that stuff.
Yeah. Hi, Terry. There's Terry
Hello,
Ashley
Terry.
from Baltimore, Maryland. I got to meet her. She came into my breakfast spot one morning a while back and got to meet her in person. Now she's back home. She
That's
was
cool.
there just on a exploratory, I guess. I think that's what it was. But it's good to see you, Terry. Well, I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, I hate the fact that, to me, as a matter of fact, I'm more concerned about the fact that the economic impact that this is having on the local people who depend on this culture for their living. And it's being heavily interfered with because of this curfew and just because of all the crap that's going on, and I think it's terrible. But I'll tell you what, I'm sorry, Terry. Terry is a male. I said she, I didn't mean that. Uh, I think that I have lots of confidence in Daniel Noboa and that he's going to get this fixed. What do you think?
I like the path he's going on right now, where he's taking action. Like a lot of the concerns that, and this is something that I wanted to mention in one of the videos, but I also didn't want it to sound there's a tone sometimes that, like in YouTube speak, that like you can sound kind of like sarcastic or maybe condescending, but like there were a lot of people, and there still probably are, who are saying that, for example, there's this comment in Spanish that they say presidente de cartón, which is like a cardboard president. Cartón referring to cardboard, because in his campaign he gave out a lot of those cardboard cutouts of him, and people were taking those home, taking pictures with it, and like he got a lot of attention because of that, in a good and bad way, as you're hearing now, because people just said, "Oh, he was just like for show," and that's the way that you interpret it. The presidente de cartón is just like, "Oh, he's just like showing himself like out there and like just showing off," and but now that he's taking action, I want to say to those same people, so what is the argument now? He's doing things, he's trying to get the situation resolved, and it's not going to be immediate. In fact, with my dad, we were talking about this, and I might make a video about this later on, like doing the comparison with what Bukele is doing in El Salvador. Like he doesn't want to be, like Daniel Noboa doesn't want to be compared to Bukele, but there are certain things that he's doing that it seems like he's taking them from a similar playbook, where it looks like he's doing really good things. For example, my dad told me this morning that Noboa, like this government has the criminals cleaning up the jails, because before the jails, like, they were pretty much the criminal's second home. Now he has them cleaning them up. Like they look spotless now. He's saying like it looks a lot better than it did before. Where before it was just like their second house. They had their cardboard, they had their stuff over there, and it was just different. And it looks like he's taking steps, and he could take steps towards what Bukele is doing, which is basically he's reforming the criminals so that they don't feel like they want to do crimes anymore. The criminals in El Salvador right now, they're cleaning up the streets, they're constructing things, and of course they're not doing it unsupervised. They're being supervised heavily monitored by a group of personnel that's making sure that they do what they got to do. But if something similar happens over here, like that would be great. If not,
Yeah.
either way, the direction is still really well in comparison to before, where the criminals were pretty much in charge of things over here. And there's also something extra I want to tell you about Puerto Viejo specifically that I heard about yesterday, and just some rumors going around. But uh, I'll let you go right now so you can mention anything you'd like to in regards to what I just said.
No, go ahead. Continue.
All right, but first,
Yeah.
say hello to everyone. Hello, Luke. How's it going? We have Galapagos and beyond. Said, I'm guessing, or I had a student called Said here, and he said a lot of people would tell him said, because that's the past of the verb say.
Yeah.
But I just called him Sai because he really liked that that nickname, so it's just like that. But thank you guys for being here. So one thing that I wanted to talk about that Puerto Viejo specific, since I have a friend who's actually a teacher at the university, like I thought that the university, like, you know, since high school classes are back to normal, I thought that in the university classes were back to normal too, but they're actually still doing virtual classes. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. And he explained that around the university, the criminal gangs, one of them, I'm not sure, I think it was the Lobos, the Wolves, they had been posting up these papers saying that, oh, we're gonna set up car bombs, we're gonna, you know, do things over at the university, you know, bad things. So the university took that as a direct threat, and it was like, no, if you drive by the university, you'll see that the gate is closed, and the only people that come in and out are staff, you know, people who work administrative jobs and stuff like that. And I recently also heard from my same friend who's a teacher at the university that apparently the government here, the Puerto Viejo government, the mayor, like everything that revolves around the mayor, like right now, is run by the Lobos, by the wolves. That they're the ones who are in the government here, and pretty much, I guess you could say, Javier Pincay is like a puppet to these guys. I can't confirm if that's actually the case. Like I said, this is like the rumor mill. The fact is what happened at the university, that, you know, these papers were being put up, and like you know, we're gonna bomb the cars and stuff like that. But the rumor mill right now is that there's people caught up in from criminal gangs, in this case Lobos, inside of
the actual government.
uh-huh. So, you know,
That's not good to hear.
no, this goes back to the corruption that I talk about sometimes, that like you just don't know. And this is like a heavier level of corruption, because I was always used to the corruption where you have a family member who is a part of the government, so they get you a job easy even if you don't deserve it. But like this, like gangs in there, it shows why and how the drug movement is probably going so smoothly, or has gone so smoothly, because of course if the government's in on it, I mean, who's going to stop it?
Yeah.
Oh, and we got a message from Jem. Hello from San Francisco. Hi from Puerto Viejo. And Said, good. My pronunciation was good. And Dennis, hola. También
Dennis,
estamos acá.
Dennis from in Puerto Viejo.
Mm-hmm.
Viejo. You know, I heard somebody told me the other day that I feel ashamed that I didn't know this, but that Daniel Noboa was an American citizen.
Apparently, I don't know if I wasn't sure if he was an American citizen, but I do know that most of his education was from the States. So
Yeah.
that's as much as I knew about.
The story I got is that all of the sons were born in the United States. I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what I heard. If anybody knows, feel free to chime in. You know.
It could be, because I don't know if you've seen the videos before, but Alvarito, which is Novoa's dad, he always posted videos in Miami. So
yeah,
there's a possibility.
They probably own a giant building.
Probably
in Miami.
This is something that I didn't talk about in my video that I made, talking about the Ecuadorian reality. This is the exception to the Ecuadorian reality, because there are Ecuadorians who are just wealthy beyond what anyone normal here would ever imagine. I mean, I remember talking to one of my friends the other day that we had a birthday reunion, and she told me that there are people who drop off at a certain school that's known as a rich school here in Puerto Viejo, that there are certain people who drop off their kids in a Mustang or in these vehicles that are like no one has those cars here, and they're like the very few people who have them. And it's like, apparently one of them is like a soccer player, one of the people who drop off their kids there, and other people just, you know, have money because of the businesses that they have, or because they work in the government. So it's like, you know, so it's like two different realities, but like that's like the exception, because I know someone will probably say, oh, but I've seen people with good cars or good houses, but those are definitely the exception to the rule.
Yeah. A Scan just said he was born in Miami. His son was recently born in Miami as well.
Oh,
so that cool. Just backs up what I'd heard from somebody else too. A reliable source, I might add too. So Just so everybody knows, I'm in Phoenix. You're in Puerto Viejo. A lot of people seem to think that have abandoned Ecuador and left and moved back to the United States, but there's nothing further from the truth. I'm just here for my original plan was to come here for 2 or 3 weeks, and just and visit friends and see about some things and get my driver's license renewed, which I finally did. And then, but because of the emergency, the I decided to stick around a little bit longer, you know, and so I don't know exactly how long I'm going to be here. Probably a couple months, And I've even thought about going as far as buying a motorcycle just so I can have something to do when I'm here and go riding, But and I found one. I picked one out and everything, and I told the guy I would probably buy it, but the way we've had nothing but rain for the last 2 days here, and it's quite chilly. I have a jacket on, little fleece jacket with my American Airlines logo on it.
Nice.
It's the only thing I got left from. I got this little thing here on my keychain. They gave everybody and all the employees at American one of these. It's a piece of skin off of the last MD-80 that we had at American, and that was retired. It's an actual piece of metal that actually came from the skin of the plane.
Fancy.
So, but so you know, aside from the economic impact, especially your dad is a good example of that because everybody in the world knows that Ecuador as a whole is a party country and people stay up late and they party late and parties don't start until like 8 to 10,
Oh man.
and then they go on until daylight, and it stands to reason why your dad's business would do so well. Just like I can remember so many times where I've gone honky tonking in the nightclubs here in the States and then be eating breakfast at 2 o'clock in the morning. Many times that, Denny's or some Jim's restaurant there in Austin, which is where I grew up. But anyway, so what else is new in Ecuador? Is there anything else? I mean, the violence has really calmed down, right? There's really hasn't been that much violence. But here's the question I was going to ask you: how many people have they actually arrested so far? Do you know? Because I gave
Mm,
a number on the channel the other day, and it was over 2,000.
well, yeah, I don't know a specific number, and I was gonna actually give an Ecuadorian fun fact that you said that a lot of the parties start at 8. 8 is
Mhm.
just the fake time. They actually start typically around 10 or 11.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
everyone says, the fun doesn't start until pretty much like 12. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But
Got to give everybody a chance to get tanked up.
yeah, I understand fashionably late, but this is not fashionably late. But anyways, no, I don't have a specific number as to how many people have been caught, but every
Mhm.
day there's someone new getting caught. Like I mentioned earlier, the two
Mhm.
Chonero gang leaders have been caught. Recently, there was like 160, I want to say runways, but runways in regards to drugs that have been
Mhm.
discovered, that are just like they're not legal, of course. So it's just 100 like 150, 160 places that like people are like drugs are coming into the country. But as you asked about the violence, like if you ask me, if I go out on the street, like I don't really see it. And I actually had this like I have these like I'll call them happy moments when I'm driving on the street and the big military vehicles drive by because it makes me feel safe. Like it makes me feel
Yeah.
like they're doing their job. Like there's extra protection.
Yeah.
So like it's a different reality than what I was used to living. Like I would go out on the street, and of course I wouldn't feel like in it like at that moment in danger. But I would always have the idea that maybe if I stop to withdraw some money from an ATM because like I need to do some shopping, or if I just park in a barren area, like I'm gonna be in danger.
Yeah.
But with with the military out there, it just feels like an extra, I guess you could say, an extra layer of security that we didn't
Mhm.
have before.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that when I left the Manta and went to the airport, I had to go through the military checkpoint to get in the building, and I practiced my Spanish on the guy, the officer or the soldier that's standing there. I said, gracias por todo lo que hace. And he said something. He said something positive. At least he didn't look at me and, what?
Like what?
So
¿Qué?
the gracias por todo lo que hace. Yeah. And telling him, I think I told him, I said, thank you for all that you do. And I felt good that they were there. Felt good to me. I
Same.
felt because I'm getting ready to get on an airplane. That's going to go. you know, I want to make sure that I'm on a plane that's with good people,
For sure.
safe. So I was glad to see him there. So somebody asked here, I don't have. Let me get my glasses.
There's actually a few things that they said. First
No,
from Sam. Hello, hello, hello. Hope things cool down when I move to Ecuador. Hopefully.
they will. Yeah.
Uh, Teresa. She also asked something, and Luke also has a question. Sam as well, and I also got another question from Magali.
Mhm.
So, or Magali. I don't know. Should we answer? Let's see. Let's go in order.
Okay.
Uh, Teresa had a planned exploratory trip from AV Canada for Springs, but will delay now. Very impressed with the actions taken there to get this under control. I think that everything that's moving is moving in a positive direction because I mean, there's no way to look at it as a well. There is a way, like looking at unfortunate people who are caught up in the accidents that have had not accidents, the purposeful negative actions that have occurred in the country. But everything else, like the removal of the drugs, cartel members, the drug gang members, terrorists being captured, all of that is just positive for anyone coming here. It's just one less person who can do you harm out on the street. Um, then we go on into Sam's question about the gun permit. How difficult for expats to have gun permit and own firearms now in Ecuador? Uh, I since I never thought of getting a gun, I wouldn't really be able to answer this question correctly. I just know that if you have if everything clear is like checked, like for the requirements, you need like a psychological test. I think you have to do some training in order to get it, and a few other things. I think if everything is clear and you have no criminal record, it shouldn't be difficult. Like, and I'm talking
Right.
about criminal record not just here but in the States. So it's like as
Yeah.
long as all of that is in order, I don't see why it would be a problem unless they want to complicate it because, oh, you're a foreigner. Like I wouldn't know that because I've never tried.
hmm
But it's something we'd have to look into.
So the story that I heard is that it's perfectly legal now, and anybody can have a gun and buy a gun once you've had the training and you've been vetted. And it's going to be harder than it is in the United States. Obviously, I can look on Craigslist or Backpage or somewhere here, and I can have a gun by the end of the day if I just do a little research. Uh, but in Ecuador, my only concern about having a gun in Ecuador is number one is buying ammunition. I've not seen a gun store anywhere. I mean, do they have gun stores? Where, in the first place, where are you going to buy one? That's going to be the number one question. You know,
Where are you going to buy
uh,
a legally registered one? That's the
yeah,
question.
yeah. And can you bring one in? I mean, what if you bring one in a suitcase that's been checked through baggage? I don't know if you can get away with that either. You know, so it's a really big question. I don't really have. I wish I could find somebody to talk to get a straight answer on what the process is of getting a gun there, getting ammunition for it, getting the training that you need, paying for the permits, and getting vetted. You know, that could be a whole new video. Um,
For sure. I think the best person to ask something like that would probably be the police. But
the
the other
place,
day when
yeah.
I was in the park, when I did my first video about the situation, the news report,
hmm
I talked to some cops and I asked them if they, if they could give some of their feedback, some of their opinions, and they were like, no, you have to interview I guess the director, the person, like someone at the police station. So I wasn't
Yeah.
able to ask them because apparently they're like they're just bound to silence. They can't say anything. Maybe
Yeah.
just to avoid problems, but um, I guess the best person to ask is one of the cops because they should probably
Yeah.
know the process because they're the ones who
Yeah.
would arrest you if you went against the process. So they should know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. Luke wants to know if you think the government will keep up the military presence after the curfew. What do you think?
Actually, that was something that was talked about, and I think even Lewis of Ecuador talked about it in one of his videos. That the government does want to do that. They want there's a whole bunch of things that they're getting into the country, vehicles and stuff that I think the vehicles were from I want to say Israel, but I'm not sure if it was Israel or Iran. Sorry if I can't remember which one it was, but I know that they want to have more. They want to keep the military presence up, but it's expensive because of well, I don't know why it's expensive because in theory that's what a lot of people complained about before all this action was taken was the
Hmm.
fact that we have military and they're just sitting in the barracks like doing nothing. So
Yeah.
why not have them out on the streets helping out the cops?
Yeah.
Um, they're still getting paid. I mean, even if they're just sitting in the barracks, they're still apparently getting paid.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if now that they're taking more action, like they have to pay them more, and that's why more money is needed to keep them out on the streets. But that's the discussion right now. Like they do want to keep the military presence in some way active, but it
Hmm.
costs money to do that. So and I'm still in doubt. It's like, is that money because they're doing more, or is that money because maybe I don't know. There's some extra fees being brought in. Like it's hard to say, honestly.
Yeah.
But I do know that they want to keep up the presence of the military.
Yeah. Uh, hey Jeff, your mess. I don't. This is the first message I've seen from you. You said that every message you send gets deleted for some reason. I guarantee you, I'm not deleting no messages from anybody. So
Hello, Jeff.
I don't
And I can't
know.
delete them either because I'm not the host of the live stream. I think it might just be depending on what's written. There might be some filters, like maybe if there's a link involved in a message, or
Yeah.
if it's too long, maybe one of those things could cause the message to break down and it won't
Yeah.
be put through.
Yeah. So Magali, Magali.
I'm not
I
sure if it would
probably
be in Spanish.
slaughtered
They would
that
call it
name.
Magali.
Yeah. But she asked, "What is the story with the cartel leader whose family was transported back to Ecuador?" You know, the guy's family was in Argentina, which is where I kind of want to go someday. And it's like, of course, they didn't get him; they just got his wife and his kids, I guess, and they extradited him back to Ecuador. Have you heard any more on that? I mean, I haven't seen anything in any of the news sources that I read. I haven't seen anything about that other than the fact that they found them and they extradited them back to Ecuador, but not the leader. Obviously, no telling where that guy is. What was his name?
It's Fito, right?
Pico. Yeah, Pico.
Fito,
Yeah,
like Fito, Fito.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the only thing I've heard, and I don't know if this is once again down the rumor mill or if it's like facts, but
Hmm.
apparently he's not happy about it. Of course, he wouldn't be. I can assume that he's
Really?
not supposed to be happy about it.
Yeah.
Um, but I heard that he's mad about it, and that supposedly now because of that action, them extraditing the
Hmm.
family, like he's gonna do more things and be more angry at what like he was already like they were already waging war supposedly, and now it's just gonna be worse. Like now they're gonna take more serious actions according to them. But like I said, that could just be the speculative rumor mill stuff that he's since he's mad, and you would assume that that's just gonna be the case. That
Yeah.
if someone messes with your family, you're gonna get mad about it.
Yeah.
Like if people mess with my friends, I'm not happy about it. So I could just imagine my family.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah,
So back to Jeff here for a second. It said, actually, somebody brought up a good point there. Teresa said, "I just discovered that writing at the intern's grave means that your message is too long and it won't post." And Jeff notoriously writes long messages. You should see some of his emails. I had to put them in Chat GPT and have them interpreted just so I can, you know, get it read in a day. But he he's always got something good to say, so it's worth it to take the time to read them.
For sure.
So keep trying, Jeff. Don't send any links. We don't need any links. Okay. It's like,
We wouldn't be able to open them on the
yeah, we can't do
on the
anything with
computer
them
maybe,
anyway.
but
It's like right now, everything's tied up here. I can't answer anybody's emails, and I'm getting text messages from people not related to this live stream, and I can't do much of anything. But anyway, uh, let's see. There was another question. Somebody made a comment about there's one gun store that's located on a military base in Quito,
yeah,
not confirmed. I
from
think I've heard that too. I've heard that it was on a military base, but I didn't know it was in Quito. If it was in Guayaquil, I'll never know because I'm not going there.
for sure. But that was from Stuff, which, by the way, hello. Also, there was a message from A Scan. Let me see here. Oh no, I clicked on something and it.
Somebody said something about they didn't think, and this makes sense to me, that they didn't think that we would be getting assistance from Israel and Iran.
Mhm.
I think I've heard or read something somewhere that we were getting some assistance from Israel.
The
But
vehicles that were brought in, actually.
yeah, is that what was brought in on the big Antonov 224? That's the world's largest transport airplane.
I
Jason.
assume that was it because that's what I heard about. I remember I saw the news when they showed the vehicles. And there's some pretty big vehicles
Yeah,
that I mean, I already thought the ones that we had here were pretty big, but those were like extra.
yeah.
Also, we have a few more people who joined. Tom, Papalina, uh, William. Hello, hello, buenas.
Yeah, here's a Papalina asked a good question. Hi, Don. Has all the chaos shaken the banks and/or the customers' concerned, resulting in more than usual withdrawals? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to have an interview with my friend at JEP Cooperative and see what his thoughts are on that. I know that my money's sitting there, and I'm still getting paid my interest on my CDs. So I don't think. I don't think it's really impacting the banks at all. I mean, I listen. I look at multiple news sources every day, and and plus I see information that comes from, I think, reliable sources on some of the various Facebook groups. The uh, Emergency Ecuador and the expat discussion. Both of those are good pages with uh, Mr. Abercrombie's on there. He's one of the writers, and also uh, Nicholas Crowder. Both these guys are extremely reliable sources of information, and uh, I have not seen anything about banks. So, shh, don't say anything. Let's don't. Oh, that's okay. It's all good.
Like, don't jinx it. Don't.
Yeah,
Everything's good.
yeah, yeah. So, we don't want to jinx anything. I honestly, I just haven't heard anything. So,
I
but
mean, just from viewing, my dad told me that the day that everything, but that was when we're talking about the day of the chaos. Like people were withdrawing money, but like it apparently didn't do much because if it did, like you said, it would have been news, and there
yeah,
hasn't really been any news about it.
yeah. So here's a good question for you, my friend. Uh, do you think people that have trips planned, tickets bought to come to Ecuador, do you think they should come on, or should they hold off, or what? I can tell you my answer, and then you tell me what you think.
Go ahead, or you want me
I
to go first?
say come on. I say come on. If you, I say come on. If you're going to Manta and you're going through Guayaquil, get out of Guayaquil as soon as you can and get on to Manta. Okay. If you're coming through Panama City, more than likely you're going to come straight into Manta anyway. If you're coming through Quito, yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about, to tell you the truth. Stay at the airport, stay close to the airport, then get to Manta. Same thing with going to Cuenca. To me, my only concern is flying into Guayaquil at night, late at night, get straight to your hotel and stay there. Don't go out wandering around. And that's what I think. That's how I feel. What do you
Uh,
think?
on my end, the only thing my main concern, and that's something that I wrote about in my post in the on the on my community tab in my channel. I actually talked about I wrote the different traffic light system and the different regions that have different levels of restrictions.
Hmm.
And I think that for the places that are in a high red, like pretty much high curfew restriction, I think those places it would be ideal not to either not to visit or to visit with really big precautions, like taking
Yeah,
into keeping in mind like the biggest precautions that you can. And
yeah.
then after that, yellow and green, like green especially, like those places are safe to visit. Like those places I would
Hmm.
say go ahead. If your plan is to go to one of those places, go ahead. Of course, don't risk it either. Like don't like go out and hey, I have a phone, look at my phone. Does anyone want it? Don't do that. But like just going, visiting touristically and doing what you were planning to do originally, that's fine.
Right.
But for the red, like the places that are in high curfew, either don't, or if you go, like with the utmost precautions, even more
Yes.
than the typical ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's a good question. Mad Madam Mimosa. I love that name. Mad. Say that three times. Mad Madam Mimosa. Do you think the recent events will cause real estate prices to go down to the possible lack of due to the possible lack of expats coming into Ecuador? No, nope. I don't think that at all. I don't think the prices are going to come down at all because in the first place, there is so much development going on. There is so much demand, you know, and I don't think that this is going to slow down the influx of Ecuadorians or Americans coming here. It's not just Americans; it's North Americans, you know, because there's a lot of Canadians, a lot of North Americans, and Americans, U.S. citizens coming here, still planning to come here, and I say continue to plan. I'd say I love that expression. This too shall pass. And I believe that this will pass. And I believe that Ecuador will overcome this problem. I don't know if they'll completely eliminate the cartel and the gangs, but as an expat, if you're coming here and you stay out of the gang business and you stay out of the drug buying business, you really don't have that much to worry about. You just got to use common sense and just and be informed. Be informed. Don't don't come here and lock yourself up in your apartment and watch television. Get on the news. Watch the news. Talk to people. Talk to the locals. See what they think. And I don't think we'll have anything to worry about. That's the way I feel personally.
No,
It's
I
not a
think you're
professional
spot
opinion.
on.
It's just my own personal feelings.
No, I think you're spot on. Especially like I watch videos all the time. Like when I have well, not all the time when I have the chance, and I
Hmm.
see that there's still people coming. There's still people who are here, and it's not like everyone's left or everyone's canceled. And like
Hmm.
I said, and similar to what I said earlier, like if you take the precautions and you're like, like you just said, like you talk to people, you look at the news, like you'll see that the situation is getting better. Like I look at it this way: if the situation was bad before and people were coming and living here and everything was fine, then now people are still going to come here and live here. Of course, it's like I said in my Ecuadorian reality video, for people living here with jobs here or with like certain situations here, it's difficult because people aren't going out. There's a little bit of this sense of danger. Like even at the academy yesterday, I had classes at 5
Hmm.
and my students' parents asked to have classes earlier, so I had to go earlier because they didn't want to stay out too late. And
Yeah.
I never saw 5 or 6:45 as too late, but for them
Yeah.
it was like no, they prefer a little bit earlier just to be on a safe side. So
Yeah.
it's like there are concerns, but it's not like that's the end all of everything.
Yeah.
This will
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah. So Teresa here, Teresa LaChance says, "Ha ha, ha, Chris. Me and hubby were laughing about how happy Don seems since Mata has been quiet at night. It'll be a huge shock when if curfew is lifted again. Well, it'll just be back to normal life, you know. And that's what feeds my grumpyism. Is, but you know what? I have actually learned to live with the noise. There is a way, okay, to live with it. You know, I mean, and I swear to God, I think it's just like 2 weeks before I left, I was sitting on my couch. I didn't even have the TV on. I was sitting on my couch, talking to myself, and thinking. When I think, sometimes I talk to myself, And I got a text message from a friend of mine that said, "Wow, did you feel that?" And it was an earthquake. It was the earthquake, the 4.3 that happened in Monte Cristi. Everybody in Monte felt it. Not me. I wasn't even drunk. I was wide awake, not even sleepy. I wasn't dozing off. I didn't feel or hear that earthquake. And it's getting that way with some of the noise. I'm getting to where I don't hear it. You know, I turn my fan on when I go to bed. I have earplugs. I have my music cozy. For the most part, I live in a pretty quiet area, you know. But believe it or not, I'm more bothered by the daytime noise than I am at night, you know. And of course, here in Phoenix now, it's insanely quiet. I shut everything down last night. I was laying in bed and I can hear myself breathing. And I was thinking, oh God, I need a fan, something. I need something. So it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. When the curfew's gone and I'm back in Monte, it's going to be life as usual. And I'm sure I'll have plenty to bitch about.
The curfew, we have to see if it doesn't get extended too, because the curfew is set to end, I think, at the end of February, or like, no, like,
Yeah,
yeah, I think around the end of February, beginning of March, let's just say.
yeah,
And there's the possibility for it to be extended one more time. Like,
yeah,
legally, they can be extended one more time. But
yeah,
if it isn't, then it's done, and we'll see what happens after that.
yeah.
What I am very curious about is how they're gonna play the Carnaval game this year, because
That's what I want to know too. Yeah,
I do know. In my mind, I have a feeling that this traffic system, yes, it's for the economy, but the economy moves really well when it's, festivities. So
yeah,
in my mind, it was kind of like more because of like that, like Carnaval trying to make everyone happy here so that they're not stressed, or that influenced the decision.
yeah,
But we'll see.
yeah. So my friend Eric in Triago, he asked me when I'm coming back. He'd have a cold pilsner waiting for me. He's I don't know if it's safe to say who he is. I don't know. Can I say who you are, Eric? I just say yes or no. And but yeah, I'll tell you what. I've had to reduce myself to drinking Budweiser here. I really like that Pilsner beer. The Pilsner beer is good beer, and Eric knows. He's uh, let's see here. No, don't worry, but let's keep it secret. Okay, so I'm not going to say. But anyway, it's I miss my Pilsner beer. I've had to settle for Budweiser here.
My
But
dad used to
no,
drink
to answer your
Budweiser
question,
when
I'll
he was
be back
in
in a
the States.
couple of months. I'm thinking sometime uh, March, late March, early April. I'll probably come back. It depends on whether I buy a motorcycle or not. If I buy a motorcycle while I'm here, um, I'll probably stick around for a while, and while the weather's good, and do some riding, get it out of my system, and then put the bike back up for sale and get rid of it, and I'll take a loss on it, but it'll be less money than I would spend if I rented one. So that's the way I look at it.
I just got a question from Tom Ace. Where can you see the traffic light map or city list? And by the way, hello, Marco. Hola. Let me see if I can pull up the map over here. Like, I think it's in the source that I sent. Although Lewis also sent me one. Let me see if it's in that source, because I remember I had seen that there was a map on there in the source that I posted on my community tab. But let me confirm. Community.
See, while you're doing that, I'm going to answer Sam Two's question. He says about asking about insurance for the money. City Insurance gives you like $32,000 per bank per sector, okay, or per bank account per sector. Uh, am I saying that right? So they have the federal bank system, then they have the province bank systems, and then they have the cooperatives. So you can have a bank account in each one of those and have up to $32,000 worth of FDIC-like insurance coverage. They call it COSIDI. And then to answer your other question about what's the average income for Ecuadorians, well, the minimum wage is now 460, but there are people that make more than that. There are people that make less than that. You know, uh, but right now, all we can say is that the I don't really have any real data on what the average income is. I can only tell you that the minimum wage is now $460. And then I think I had one more question there. Is there still car bombs happening in there? I haven't heard of any car bombs. Have you?
Not, at least not in this city. What I did hear about was, I think 2 days ago. I want to say 2 days ago, there
Mhm.
was a shooting at a UPC, one of the police
Yeah,
stations in Quito. And I mean, you could say, I know that that instantly makes people think, oh no, there was a shooting at a police station in Quito. Quito's dangerous, but remember, it's a
yeah,
police station, not all of Quito. So
yeah,
I don't want to just go out and say like, oh, Quito's dangerous, but there is danger in some places, and things like that have been happening, even if they're not like hot topics, you know.
yeah. So, okay, Jeff, you would take Ecuador's Club over Bud any day. What about, would you take it over Pilsner? I mean, the Pilsner is the number one beer in Ecuador. Isn't that right, Ace? Pilsner? Isn't that the number one beer in Ecuador?
It's the cheapest beer, if I remember correctly, and the one
No,
that most
no,
people
not what you're supposed to say. The number one and number two beers in Ecuador is Pilsner and Glub.
Club
And
is the one
actually,
that, yeah.
yeah,
Club is the one
Glub,
that I always see my friend is drinking and
it's
my brother
actually,
as
there's
well.
three. There's Pilsner,
Is it there?
Pilsner Light, and Glub.
I thought you were gonna say
Club or
what
Club
was
or
it?
Club.
No, club. It's actually club, but like they pronounce
Club,
it club here.
Glub, yeah.
Pilsner, club, and
Yeah,
Corona. Corona.
yeah.
That's the one that people drink a lot as well.
Eric said Pilsner and Club. So, and he knows, believe me. Oh,
Okay,
God.
so in regards to the question about the wage, I actually
Yeah,
had this Reddit post that I had saved, and I just closed it. But I saved this Reddit post that did an analysis of the medium of what the minimum of what the wage that people earn is, and the
yeah,
medium is $400, with the top 10% earning at least $1,079.
yeah.
And if you look at the little graph that shows up here, it says one in every 100 people earn less than $3,463 a month. One in every 10 earn at least $1,079 a month. One out of every four earn at least $629 a month. The middle, like the medium, earn at least $400 a month. And three out of every four Ecuadorians earn at least $179 a month.
I don't see how they make it, but they do. Ecuadorian people are very resourceful. That's we could learn a few things. You know,
For sure.
we could learn a lot for the Ecuadorians and how they can live on so little.
Not a problem, Sam. And Stuff said, is support provided to affected workers and businesses earning enough to survive was difficult before, but now no customers equals no food. Discount electricity is better than tax rises at the moment. I mean, if just from our situation, I there's no support for us. I do know that there are some plans, and I don't know if they're still in effect, where single parents, single mothers, get some kind of like support from the government, but it's not a lot. If I remember correctly, it was like $50, maybe 100. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember the exact number. And there's different support for different people depending on their situation. But I mean, it's not a lot. It's not gonna resolve everything. For example, what was it? No, I can't. I was gonna say something, but it just disappeared. But yeah, it's not enough. I remember my dad once talked about what the canasta básica, which is the I don't know how it's translated directly, but it's basically what you need to live each month. What you supposedly need, and I think the value is over $1,000 to live each month. In our household, like my dad, we were talking about this with my dad the other day, and in our household, it's a lot. It's I think even those $1,000, I think it's more than that. And that's just on food, if I remember correctly. But it's tough to live here. That's why part of my solution is to do my fasting, and that actually I feel helps in some way, because like there's days when I can go without eating and it's fine. But it's not the end all solution. That's why I'm planning on working at a high school next year, and just pretty much full-time high school, part-time the academy, and of course YouTube.
Yeah.
We got a special guest.
Oh, Mr. Parker is trying to steal the show.
In reality, he's actually
he gets really shy. Somebody said, "Oh, RC said hello. All is Mr. Shader Grump today?"
Hi, RC.
Somebody asked me the other day about Mr. Parker. You know, he hasn't been in my videos, but they were surprised that I brought him with me. You know, somebody asked me where he was. Where is Mr. Parker? ¿Dónde está Señor Parker?
Mr. Parker is also on vacation.
Yeah.
We also got a message from Sluice and L. Hello.
Yep. Al cool. Well, I get a lot of stuff from Al. He's always got a lot of good stuff to say.
For sure.
Yeah, provides me with a lot of important information. So I always very much appreciate. I appreciate my subscribers more than you can know.
Yeah. Same, especially when they leave comments, even if it's just to add more conversation. It's always fun to see what everyone's thoughts are, as long as it's not, what do you call that, combative, or not like, there's some comments that sometimes it's like someone wants to fight, but it's like, I try to just let it go.
Hey, by the way, do you get notified when somebody leaves a buy me a coffee donation?
I have to log into the site. Like the app itself closes. The app closes itself on my phone. So like after you don't log in for a certain amount of time. So whenever I want to check it, I have to log in to buy me a coffee to see if there's any new members or any donations.
Yeah. When was the last time you checked it?
I think maybe
you need to check it.
I'll check it. Wait,
I
why?
bought you a coffee the other day, and I said,
"Oh, really?
You didn't thank me,
I gotta check it. Sorry about that. I didn't check it. I need to check it.
Yeah, it's I sent you a little something as a token of appreciation.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Helps out in these times a lot. Especially that's going into my dad's if it's on buy me a coffee, everything right now that's going there is for my dad's vacation, because I'm trying to get him to take a vacation, even if I have to force it on him.
Yeah, he needs to. We all need that downtime, So
right now you're on your vacation. No noise from Manta.
Hey man, it's awesome. And the only thing I haven't, the only thing that I've done since I got here is I did have some good barbecue, and I'm going to have some today for lunch. But I got my driver's license renewed, and when I did, they give you a form. You have to look at it. You have to make sure everything's correct. Then you sign it. You do the eye test, and you give them $10, and they take your picture, and you get a new driver's license. So what I noticed when I got my license was they didn't put my veteran status on there, and they didn't include my motorcycle endorsement. So I went back over this morning, and the lady said, "You obviously didn't read the form."
Wow.
And that you signed, And I said, "Oops!" And sure enough, they had to give me a new one. So, but they didn't charge me for it. They were real nice about it. So,
That's
but only this time they put on there that I need corrective lenses, and I forgot to say I don't need corrective lenses because I had surgery since I got my original license, and I don't have to have corrective lenses to drive. And so I just said, "Oh, the heck with it! I'll just leave it like it is." And then if I get stopped and they ask me, I'll say, "I had corrective surgery done since I got the license," But
which is true. You actually have had corrective surgery done, so it's
I
like,
did. When I had my cataracts removed, they put ocular implants in, and I had 20/20 vision for distance, but I had to have these to read. You know, I don't need these for driving. But if I wear these while I'm driving, I'll be in trouble. So we got some new comments.
I actually have to take my license renewal test tomorrow.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to go through the matriculation process that we did your video on
Ooh, yeah.
after I get back. So, but I'm also getting a new license plate. My attorney's getting me. He told me yesterday that that's in the works right now. So
Awesome.
I'll get a new plate, and finally all the tickets that I got that I didn't get, but that were the tickets that were assigned to me by somebody. They've all been expunged now, and everything is taken care of. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So
That's awesome.
yeah. Sluice Box Charlie said hello to both of us. Hello, Sluice Box Charlie.
Going on.
Al says, I think both your perspectives on the Ecuador culture and current political situation are extremely valuable. Thanks, Al. We do the best we can. So I had missed Mr. Parker. Nice to see him living his best world traveler life. That's what Teresa said.
Parker's worldwide.
Yeah, and hello, Don. Do you watch football? I do when I get the chance. I watch more football from Monta than I do from here. Here, where I'm at right now in this particular location, there's some good friends of mine that have been in my life for several years. They own a big old house up here in North Phoenix, and they took what there was their original external garage, a detached garage, and they took it was like a 3-car garage, and they took two of the spaces and they closed it in, and they turned it into like a suite. And it's really nice. It has a refrigerator. It's right behind me. A coffee maker, the microwave oven, sink. But they got an 80-inch TV on the wall over there with Roku TV.
Oh
And
my goodness.
I know, and I haven't been able to figure out how to get like live. There's a lot of live stuff I'm watching. Like right now, I'm watching live. I think it's Fox live now from Fox. Yeah, but and at the end next weekend, I'm actually going to another location, which is out where I used to live, out in Fountain of the Sun. And a friend of mine, another good friend of mine, is giving me his place to stay that he owns there. That he keeps it for his adult children when they come through the area. So I get to stay out there, and he says I don't have to pay me anything. All I have to do is make sure it's clean when I leave. I feel I have a little bit too much pride. I'm going to pay him something. I can't just go there for nothing and use their electricity. But it's a really nice place, and it's just identical to the place that I owned and that I sold. Matter of fact, I'll be able to walk out the front door of this place and see my previous location across the pool, and which is kind of emotional for me, but that's okay. I couldn't afford it now anyway. It's a place that I bought for 135 in 2010. I sold it for 263 in 2021, and now they're valued at like 335. And so, such is life.
It is. Things happen.
Yeah. So Kim Olson, hello from Bahia, Ecuador. Moved here from Wilcox, Arizona. Enjoy your videos. Thank you, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Kim is I think Kim and I have a mutual friend at Tempe Camera, and I got to see him just the other day, Kim. If you're the right Kim, I'm pretty sure you are. And then let's see Roberto Farias. I'm sorry, Roberto. Hey, Don, greetings. Hope all is well, and hello to GMAs as well. Finally heading back to South America, but taking a little detour, going to Sao Paulo before heading to Buenos Aires. Yeah, keep in touch with me. I want to know about Buenos Aires. I'm always interested in that place. I'm really keeping an eye on what's going on down there as far as their economy is concerned. And the new president down there is kicking ass and taking names too, you know. So
I hope that also means positive things for them as well.
yeah,
Hello, Roberto.
yeah.
Also, hello, Beyond Borders. Buenas.
So how's the weather? How's the weather there in Puerto Viejo?
Oh man,
Is it
it's
hot?
been pretty rainy. Like these past few
Really?
days, I've been going out on a motorcycle, and if it's not drizzling lightly, it's raining.
Yeah,
Like the good thing is like when I get back home, like it stops raining, but the bad thing is going out and all that rain on you. Like, oh no.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's rainy weather. It's pretty hot over here. That's why earlier when you said it was cold, I was gonna say it's actually hot over here
Yeah.
because of the humidity and also the heat itself.
Yeah. It doesn't look like I'll get to be making very many more trips to Puerto Viejo. My buddy and Soka is going to be going home this weekend or going somewhere. I did a video about it yesterday, and I'm extremely worried about what's going to happen with him. He's going to be basically being sent home, and I'm not real happy about it. I don't think he's ready. He needs to be in rehab, but that's a whole nother video, you know.
I'm wondering if there's the possibility for him to get like transported into it, like even if it's a paid place, but like I'm
Mm,
guessing that would be tough because there's maybe not the funds.
yeah, yeah. There's no money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to get them to get a hold of ISS and get him into an ISS hospital in in Manta, but the guy can't even stand up. I don't know how he's gonna. I just don't see how they're gonna pull this off, and so I'm trying to be as positive as possible and hope for the best. That's all I can do.
Positivity
Hopefully,
always.
yeah,
Gotta see what happens.
yeah,
Speaking of, when you come back, I gotta go to Manta so we can do a
yeah,
video over there.
yeah, yeah,
We can hang
absolutely.
out.
Yeah, I still have my apartment until the end of March or end of May, and I'll probably have it for another 6 months. I keep renewing it every 6 months. So my my sweetheart is in Manta, and can't imagine going somewhere where she's not. So
How is she, by the way?
she's doing great. She's doing great. So I was uh, I was instructed not to mention her name on my
That's
videos.
I wasn't sure. That's why I've been avoiding it. Like just like, hey, how's she? Everything good?
Yeah,
I was actually gonna ask you, how's
yeah,
especially.
she, yeah. It's a long story, but I don't blame her. I mean, there's a guy. You know, this is what happens when you get on YouTube. You got certain trolls. There's a guy that's just hell bent on harassing me, and he has not stopped. It's been over a year, and he's threatened me a couple times, and uh, he just hell bent on causing me grief, and he mentioned her name. There's an email that I got the other day, and where he's mentioned that he wants to hook up with her again, and just stuff that he says just really really bad. I don't know. I'm sure it's just another troll that just doesn't know how to control himself, and uh, that's about all I can say about it.
Yeah, there's always those trolls that you just
If I could
gotta.
find him, yeah, if I could find him, I'd I'll tell him what I would do. You know, I'm too old. I'm too old to do anything. I just have to just say, it's got to be. not real, and I hope it doesn't uh, turn out to be any worse.
Gotta stay positive.
Yeah,
Either way, as long as you're there for her, everything's gonna be good.
yeah, yeah,
Gotta say she's got her Dawn.
yeah. All right, you know what? I think it's time. I'm gonna cut it off here. I think I need to go eat. We kind of we For everybody that's on, we did this as kind of an experiment because I wanted to see how I could do a live stream, from here. And I have another person that I'm going to do an interview with uh, soon, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do it as a live stream. Um, Samuel just asked, "Do Mr. Dunn or Ace know I could get the driver's license test in English in Ecuador?" No, it's in Spanish. So learn your Spanish,
Yeah, I've been going
or
over the
or
questions,
learn
doing practice tests.
yeah, or
Uh,
learn how to buy a driver's license. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to say anything. I know nothing. I see nothing.
I hear no evil. I see
I
no evil.
hear no. Yeah, it's like, but there's, I understand there are people that can actually buy a driver's license. I don't know. I know some people that did, but no names, no nothing. No.
I, I won't say much either. I just know that someone, when I told them about that I was gonna get my license renewed, they were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you could like." I told them the process. Oh no, you could just do that without getting the test.
yeah,
You know
right.
how. And I was like, "Yeah, I have a feeling."
Yeah,
But now I'm going through the test, so yeah.
yeah. Somebody's Al just said so. If you're gonna live in South America, take your time and learn Spanish. And I'll tell you, I know a lot more now than I did this time last year and the year before, and it's 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 not that hard, But you just got to be consistent with it. You have to. It helps that I have a girlfriend that speaks Spanish, and I have friends that speak it, and that helped me, But for me to be able to sit down and have a conversation with somebody in Spanish, it's going to be very difficult. But what's important, and that I think that really helps me, is that I know enough to be able to get what I want in just about any situation. So, and at least get things started. So, yeah, you're right, Al. If you're going to come to South America, plan on learning some Spanish or get a Spanish speaking girlfriend.
The solution to all your problems: get
Yeah,
a Spanish-speaking girlfriend.
yeah, there you go. When are we going to get you a girlfriend?
Oh man, I don't know. I've got it as a goal for this year. I can't
Yeah,
confirm that it will happen, but it is a goal because I would have loved to have a girlfriend for Valentine's Day this year,
yeah,
but I might just end up going out with a friend or something and telling her, hey, as friends, let's go hang out for Valentine's Day.
yeah, yeah.
They
All
say
right.
it's the day for amor y amistad, love
Yeah.
and friendship. So
I'm surprised you don't have them lined up at your door, man. It's like, and there's lots of young girls in Puerto Viejo,
yeah,
right?
but apparently not interested in me.
Well, we have to do
I'll get out
something.
more, and then afterwards
Yeah,
it'll happen.
yeah. Okay, all right. I think it's time to cut it off. All right, I got to
Sure.
go. I got things to do. People see places to go, and I'm hungry. I got to go eat. So, thanks so much to everybody for joining. Thanks so much for being subscribers to my channel and to GMA's. Uh, there's if you listen to our two channels, you don't need to listen to anybody else, right?
For sure.
I
Although
think.
don't forget to leave a like. Don't
Yeah,
forget to leave a like, everyone, on this video.
yeah, yeah. And if you
If
like
you're
this
not
live
subscribed,
stream, give it
obviously
that
subscribe.
thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, bite me, okay? And I say that with peace and love. All right.
Thank you guys for being here. We really
Yeah,
appreciate it. Hope you guys have an excellent day.
yeah. Thanks, everybody. Ciao, ciao. See
Take
ya.
it easy, brother.